So listen, I got a word for you today. Listen, God just kept having this saying in my spirit, like, he said he's a even though type of God, okay? Even though type of God. And he's like, even though you may had a rough childhood, even though you may have experienced some trauma, even though you may not have the education, okay? Even though you may feel as a misfit, okay? Even though you don't fit in, okay? Even though you may have been backstabbed, betrayed, talked about, okay? Cheated on, okay? God says, even though it may look like you don't know how you're going to be able to come up with the funds, even though it may look like the odds are stacked against you, God says, even though everybody may seem like they're so farther off than you, even though you may experience some fear, even though you may not know what you're going to say, God says, in the nick of time, I will tell you what to say. In the nick of time, I will show you what to do. God says, in the nick of time, I will come and support you. God said that he is an even though type of God. And all he needs for you to do is have faith of a mustard seed. Okay, the Bible says, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. For thy rod, thy staff, thy comfort me. Okay, he prepares a table in the presence of my enemy. Okay, I should dwell in the house of God for all the days of my life. Okay, God says he's an even though type of God. Even though you went through what you went through, even though you're going through what you're going through, you're going to come out on the other side. God says all he needs for you is to have faith. All he needs for you to be anchored in him. All he needs for you to do is understand that though he slay you, yet will he trust you, yet will you trust him. God says that what you are going through is preparation. God says you have to understand that everything that you have experienced in this life is preparing you for your next. God says you have to understand that there's a blessing in every season. God says you are the blessing. A lot of times we feel like we need to be in a relationship. We need to have this type of funds. We need to have these type of friends. We need all of these different things for us to feel whole. God says, what if you are the prize? What if you are the prize? You are the prize. He needs you to have faith in yourself. He needs you to be able to be in solitude. See, a lot of times people think that because they are in solitude or their isolation season, that this is because of a consequence of what they've done and God is punishing them. But God says it's in solitude is when you are able to get still. It is when you are able to hear from God. In solitude, you should not feel lonely. Loneliness is because you feel the absence of something. See, and a lot of times we think it's loneliness, but a lot of times we are just grieving. We're grieving our old self, okay? We're grieving how things used to be, okay? But when we are aware that we are grieving because we are laying hold of something new, then we can appreciate isolation. We can appreciate solitude, because that is when you get to really connect with God and you get to hear his voice. God says he's an even though type of God. Okay, so you got to understand that whatever season, wherever you may find yourself in this current life, you have to understand that it was all predestined before the foundation of this world. Your life is a testimony. Your life will be used to bless others. You are leaving a legacy. You are in the world, but you are not of the world. You are uncommonly peculiar, okay? You are uniquely and wonderfully made, okay? I want you to believe it. I want you to get it deep down into your spirit to understand that God is an even though type of God. So even though it may look like it's not going to happen, even though you may not understand how the dots are going to connect, even though you may not even understand what dot you need to connect, God says that at the appointed time, that he will reveal to you what you need. God said at the appointed time, he will tell you what to say. God is in you, okay? And when you're not of this world, most people will not understand. But God don't need them to understand. He needs you to understand, because when he do what he is going to do, then they will begin to understand who is working with you, okay? In the world, not of the world, okay? You need to understand you are uncommonly peculiar. Your life is headed up, okay? Click the link in my bio. We're doing a blowout sale, okay? All merchandise is on sale, okay? We have new things coming to the site, okay? God is doing a new thing, okay? If you got to the end of this video, type, I got to the end, sis, okay? because the last shall be first and the first shall be last. Okay? We're in a new season like no other. God said he has created you for such a time as this. He's doing a new thing. Can you perceive it? All right, y'all. Truth, love, and transparency always coming from your girl. Now go on with your day and remember, you big blessed. Peace.